This is a CBC News special presentation.
The spotlight is on Queen's Park tonight and the promises made to Ontarians. Let's get it done is the commitment made by the PCs. The Liberals have called for a fairer Ontario, a place to grow. And the NDP say they are strong, ready, working for you. From the legislature on University Avenue, across the GTA and the province, welcome to CBC's election night coverage. Good evening, I am Dwight Drummond. We are live tonight from Studio 42 at the Canadian Broadcasting Centre. It's been a historic 4 years for Doug Ford's government. Will tonight bring change or will voters stay the course? It's time for the people of Ontario to make a decision. We want to welcome our ASL users tonight. Complete coverage is available with ASL translation and closed captions on our online stream. You can access that by using the URL on your screen. We're also on CBC Gem and YouTube, and you can connect with us throughout the night. Follow CBC Toronto on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. This is Ontario Votes 2022.
Ontario, this is my home.
This is our home.
The home of Canada's capital, one of the world's natural wonders,
and some of the country's best farmland.
Godwak she Simdana Shinswe Tenun Shkunaganan Mampi Ontario Akin. It's the land of 133 First Nation communities.
valuable resources, and Canada's economic hub.
Elections matter because we matter.
Small business matters.
Wages matter. Cost of living matters.
Ontario is about to elect a new government.
Who and what did you vote for?
Are you ready? Ontario, we are just under an hour until the polls close, which means you still have time to cast your ballot. Watch that countdown clock on your screen. When it hits 0, the results will start to roll in. Let's introduce our team tonight. With me in studio is our provincial affairs reporter, Mike Crawley. Mike has been covering Queen's Park since 2009. To my right is the host of CBC's Power and Politics, Vashi Kapelis, and she is joined by our two panelists tonight, Sabrina Nanji, Ontario politics reporter and author, and Jaskaran Sandhu, who has worked as a strategist and political advisor for various political parties. Now, take a look at this floor in front of me. Impressive, isn't it? This is how the map looked in 2018 when the PCs won their majority. There are 124 ridings in Ontario, and watching them all for us tonight is Eric Grenier, poll analyst, and the man behind the CBC News poll tracker. He's going to help us make sense of the results as they start coming in. And Eric, we have some developments tonight that will affect when we can report those results.
Yeah, that's right. A few ridings across the province had some poll that had to stay open later, which means they will not be reporting any results until those polls are finished and everybody has had the chance to vote. So some ridings will take a little bit more of a delay before we get some results, but that doesn't mean we won't have a lot of numbers to take a look at. Right now, the map is all gray, but if we look at what things were like in 2018, a lot of blue for the PCs in Southern Ontario. And let's take a look at two regions in particular. First, starting with Toronto, you can see that the PCs were able to win some seats in the city. The New Democrats did quite well. The Liberals only won 3 seats. But the place where the election is probably going to be decided tonight is going to be the GTA. And every election is decided by what happens in the GTA. And you can see that last time, lots and lots of blue across the entire region. Few pockets of orange. The question tonight is if it's going to stay as blue or if we will see more orange and red on this map tonight.
Our countdown clock here says about 2 minutes and 10 seconds until the polls close. But remember, there are about 27 that are going through some issues right now. For real-time results for every riding in Ontario, head over to cbcnews.ca/Toronto and download the CBC News app for the latest updates. They're going to be sent directly to your phone. So, will Doug Ford's PCs hang on to power? Can Andrea Horwath's NDP prevent a Tory majority? Will the Liberals get back to official party status? Guess what, folks? We are about to find out.
prices of groceries and stuff like that.
The gas prices, wage increase, cost of living, housing.
Ontario voters facing an affordability crisis, and the leaders are making promises.
We'll build 1.5 million homes over the next 10 years.
Promises.
We're going to deliver buck a ride province-wide.
And more promises.
Your dental care will be covered.
Building 160,000 affordable community rental homes.
2 years into the pandemic, will voters give Doug Ford another 4 years?
Mr. Ford, have you talked to a nurse lately?
24/7, I was working on this pandemic.
This is the job that you signed up for 4 years ago.
Then, COVID knocks 2 leaders off the campaign trail.
Headache and sore throat.
I'm feeling fine.
And Ford feeling the love from unions with 8 endorsements.
You're out of touch with the hardworking men and women.
I think you need to look in the mirror, Mr. Ford.
The NDP and Liberals seem to go after each other as much as the PC leader.
Respectfully, Ms. Horvath, every time you attack me, as you've done for a year, Doug Ford smiles.
When a deadly storm sweeps across southern Ontario, it forces the leaders to address another issue.
Doug Ford is in essence a climate change denier.
I believe in climate change.
We know that there's some things that need to be fixed around our provincial response to disasters.
Now, after 29 days of crisscrossing the province, the decision is in the hands of Ontario's voters. Well, welcome to CBC's Election Special, Ontario Votes 2022. We are live from Studio 42 at the Canadian Broadcasting Centre in downtown Toronto. I'm Dwight Drummond. Next to me is the host of Power and Politics, Vashi Kapelis. To my left, our provincial affairs reporter, Mike Crawley. It is now 9 o'clock. The majority of the polls have closed, and we are waiting for the results to start rolling in. You will be able to see them all night at the bottom of your screen. That's the race right there. You will be watching it live throughout the evenings. 124 seats in our legislature. 63 are needed for a majority government. And as the night goes on, you'll see those ridings fill in the color of the winning party. So let's get to it. Our reporters are live across the province and at party headquarters. We begin tonight with Lisa Shing with the PCs. Lisa, how is this party feeling about the night right now?
Well, things are starting to pick up here at PC headquarters.
Thank you for that, Katerina, out in Essex tonight. As the results start to roll in, you can see there 21, 5, 3, and 1 leading or elected. Let's check in with Eric for an update. Eric.
Yeah, we're going to start looking at some more of the results that we're getting in. You can see my map is starting to get a little bit more color. Let's start with Guelph, where Mike Schreiner is, of course, hoping to get reelected. He won by a big margin in 2018. You can see he's currently ahead by 554 votes over Peter McSherry. I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to hold on to that riding tonight, but we'll wait until more results are counted. Scarborough Agincourt, this is a riding that the PCs were able to win last time, and Aris Babikian has a lead of 286 votes right now over Sue Wong of the Liberals. Let's look at the next result coming in. Ajax, this is a riding. This used to be Rod Phillips' riding. He is not running again. He resigned earlier this year. Patrice Barnes is currently leading by 42 votes over Amber Bowen of the Liberals. Still early on, still 2 of 41 polls reporting. Brampton North, here we have Graham McGregor is leading by 70 votes over Harinda Malley of the Liberals. She was a former MPP there. Sandeep Singh is the NDP candidate. He defeated Kevin Yard in a nomination contest. He would have been the NDP incumbent. Let's look at the next riding. Yeah, he got it done in the GTA, which we expected would be the place that would decide this election. And right now, there's lots of blue. If you compare it to 2018, it was pretty blue too, but you can see that Brampton was NDP last time. Now, all 5 seats in Brampton. We can look at some of those. Brampton East, for example. This is a key riding for the NDP. Gurtan Singh has held it since 2018. He's the brother of federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, who used to hold a riding in the area. Hardeep Grewal is right now ahead by 255 votes.
As you look at this map in front of us here, you know what's missing? Red, Eric Grenier. What is the party summary?
The PCs are taking a lot of seats from the New Democrats. They're taking seats, not so much from the Liberals, because the Liberals are up a couple seats. But let's focus in on a couple of the places where the PCs have made some significant gains in the popular vote. You can see they're at 40.6% overall across the province. That more or less matches exactly where they were in 2018.
Let's head over to Eric Grenier to look at how they pulled this off, this incredible victory tonight, Eric.
The PCs got a lot of support across the province. They gained some seats. So let's look at the vote share across the province right now. The PCs won that popular vote. They have 41%, so a little bit better than they actually did in 2018. So again, the fact that a incumbent government is actually improving its vote share from one election to the next, not only its seats, is quite something. And you see the Liberals and the New Democrats, it's results that have cost both of the leaders their jobs, but they're tied right now in the vote across the province at 23.6%. But you can see that the NDP has 29 seats, the Liberals only 8 with the same amount of vote. Just shows how inefficient the Liberal vote has been. Let's look at how the seats have changed since 2018. Hasn't been a huge amount of change, but it's enough to make this a really big win for the PCs under Doug Ford. The PCs have gained, there you go, 7 seats for the PCs over 2018. The Liberals are up 1. There's 1 independent. It's Haldimand Norfolk. There's a candidate there that seems to be ahead. And what we have for the NDP, though, 9 seats that they've lost. Now, the fact that the NDP are the big losers of this election in terms of the seat count, you know, Andrea Horwath is still passing off the party as the official opposition. This is still the second best result that the NDP has had.
Actually, you know what? I was going to ask you a question, but I need you to hold that thought for a moment.
Go for it.
We have looked at the numbers, and the CBC News decision desk is ready to make a call. The CBC News desk, election desk, is predicting and projecting, rather, a majority government for Doug Ford and the Progressive Conservatives. You could see it there. Let's take a look at PC headquarters right now. Doug Ford led this province through the difficult times of the COVID pandemic, and he will now govern through the recovery. Returning to Queen's Park for another term as Ontario's premier, and Mike, he will return with even more MPPs to serve in the 43rd Parliament of this province.
A CTV News special presentation.
Is about who's prepared to get it done.
I know we can get everyday families back on solid ground.
Buck a ride province-wide. $1 transit fares.
It is now or never to address the climate crisis.
My priorities would be job creation.
2 decent incomes and we can't afford to buy a house. Childcare and healthcare.
The seniors have not really been taken care of, and I am a senior.
Healthcare, good schooling, good roads.
Whoever can take control of the cost of living, it would be very helpful.
CTV News, Ontario Election 2022.
Good evening, Ontario. The polls are now closed except in 19 ridings where there are delays of up to 2 hours.
And this is a live look inside the Ford family home in Etobicoke, where Doug Ford and his family are waiting to see if Ontario voters will send him back to Queen's Park for a second term.
From CTV headquarters in Toronto, this is CTV Ontario Election 2022. Hello, I'm Nathan Downer.
And I'm Stephanie Smythe. Welcome to our viewers joining us now on CTV stations across Ontario.
A quick note about the information that matters to you. On the right, you'll see riding results. A check mark means the CTV decision desk has declared a winner.
At the bottom of your screen are the party seat counts, which will start to change as the results are coming in. The magic number is 63 for a majority.
And we have full team coverage tonight with our CTV reporters at key ridings all over the province.
From Toronto to Timmins, Niagara to Nepean, we have you covered.
Progressive Conservative leader Doug Ford and his extended family are gathered at the family home in Etobicoke as the votes are starting to be counted. Progressive Conservative leader and CB24's Nick Dixon's at the power board with CTV's projection for tonight. Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is so key. You know, the Ford family watching very closely. They have maybe nervous smiles on their face. This next projection may make them smile a little bit. The race is for 63. That's majority territory. And as you can see right now, CTV's decision desk, according to our seat projection range, suggesting a minimum number of seats seats for Doug Ford's Progressive Conservatives tonight of 44. That's the minimum. That, though, would be disappointing. This, on the other hand, would be a great night for the PCs. 81 is the maximum projections based on our numbers right now. This isn't just based on numbers. This is based on analysis going riding by riding, looking at the issues in the riding, looking at a bit of history as well. So as your votes are being counted, these numbers are going to shift as well. So looks like the Ford PCs are on the way to victory. Close ridings like Scarborough-Guildwood. So let's talk about that magic number, 63. That is the number the parties are going for tonight. That is required for a majority. You hit 63, bingo. You form the next government as a majority, as we heard John Moore suggesting that he expects will be the PCs. We'll be watching those numbers, but of course there are some delays. Let's show you the 2018 final results. 4 years ago, not quite tonight, on June the 7th, Progressive Conservatives came out on top with 76, giving Doug Ford his first majority. New Democrats at 40, Liberals at 7. Remember, the minivan party lines and the Green Party had 1. Let's take a look now at the seats of dissolution, because in the last 4 years, things have changed. You can see the PCs, their number reversed from 76 to 67. New Democrats dropped a couple. Liberals and Greens held. 3 vacancies were never filled over the last several months. 6 are sitting as independents. And as Nathan was mentioning, the new parties, New Blue and Ontario Party, those are effectively people who left the PC party to join their own parties. So we're keeping an eye very closely on all of this, as of course these results are going to start coming in after 9 o'clock.
Okay, Morella, thank you. We have first results for Stephen Del Duca's riding of Vaughan Woodbridge. One poll, 309 for Mr. Tabolo and Stephen Del Duca, 171. Evan Solomon, you know, it's early results, but this is one we are keenly watching.
People knew the name, but they didn't know how he would be as premier. Now there's 4 years of a record, and that first year was a rough one. Then a pandemic. What do you think made people want to put their support behind Ford once again for 4 more years?
I think he did a great job during the pandemic, or at least even if you didn't think he did a great job, you thought he did pretty good or better than you expected. I think that laid the groundwork for it. And then I think they ran a tremendous campaign. I think Ford stayed out of people's faces for the last couple of weeks.
Alvin, we have breaking news. As you can see, Stephen Del Duca has been defeated in Vaughan Woodbridge. CTV declares Stephen Del Duca has lost his seat in Vaughan Woodbridge, lost the opportunity to have that seat in Vaughan Woodbridge.
So let's head to Beatrice Vaisman in Vaughan Woodbridge at Del Duca's headquarters. What is the reaction there, Beatrice? Can only imagine.
Nathan, certainly not a sense of celebration, not a single cheer so far tonight from Del Duca campaign headquarters. A lot of long faces from supporters here in Vaughan Woodbridge. And
seats. Now, let's take a look at where things are. And look at that. Brampton has gone blue, leading and elected in all 5 of the Brampton ridings. Doug Ford paying very close attention to this riding. And of course, keep in mind, this was where the 413 highway was considered very controversial. Other parties, the opposition parties, said they were going to scrap it. Doug Ford was standing firm on it. And this is the ridings in Brampton East right now. You can see Hardeep Grewal has about a 2,000, almost a 2,200 vote lead over Guratan Singh, who is the incumbent, of course. Let's go Brampton North right now for you. Give you a sense of the results there at this point. You've got Graham McGregor, the PC, in this riding here over Harinder Mali. Again, a 3,000 vote lead with about half the polls coming in. And as we finish off on Brampton Centre for you, giving a sense of what's happening here, Charmaine Williams over the incumbent Sarah Singh. Sarah Singh, very prominent NDP MPP. She is down by about 3,000. So that's the story. 905. Look at this seat change, potentially up 3 for the PCs, all at the expense of Andrea Horvath and the New Democrats. Potentially 27 seats in that 905 belt. Steph, Nathan.
Results coming in, and this is Brampton Centre. There's been a change. Sarah Singh was the incumbent. She loses. Charmaine Williams, quite popular in Brampton. She is the first black woman elected to Brampton City Council.
Sorry, we have breaking news. CTV News declares a PC win. We don't know at this moment if it's a minority or a majority, but we should know that coming up in minutes. There is the applause at the Ford family home. Again, a PC win. So now it's all about the numbers and where they fall.
Yeah, of course, Evan, they're not wanting just a minority win. They're hoping for more.
They're hoping for more, but hey, a win is a win is a win is a win. In politics, they know it, everybody knows it, and so this is a big win. Now, the machine wants to get the majority, and they want to go on, but they're rightfully happy.
Well,
10 minutes in,
looks like things are going better than expected for the Conservatives, and keeping a close eye on how things are evolving. Again, at the bottom of your screen, elected and leading, and again, at the expense of the Liberals is what's happening right now. Sorry, we have breaking news. CTV News declares a PC majority. Doug Ford Ford gets another majority government in the province of Ontario. And there we are at the Ford party headquarters at the Congress Centre.
Yeah, the Toronto Congress Centre. They're in party mode now, enjoying this, that it's now a PC majority that's been declared. We don't have the total number of ridings yet, but we know it's going to be 63 or more. Let's listen in. All right, let's bring in Michelle Dubé. You are there in the middle of the action. What's going on?
Hey, Nathan. Hey, Steph. Yes, this crowd is very, very happy.
Okay, we have breaking news. CTV News declares the NDP the official opposition. Let's go to Rahim Ladani at NDP party headquarters in Hamilton. Rahim.
Hi, Steph. Yes, I'm here at the convention center. They just word hasn't gotten yet to the big screens yet that the NDP have been called the official opposition. But I am here with Melanie Richer, who does know the news. She's the press secretary for Andrea Horwath. Melanie, what's your reaction?
I mean, of course, we were wanting to form government. We'll take the news of official opposition. I think Andrea has taken every day this campaign to really lift people's stories up.
It's time to get paving, and it's time to get it done.
Job number one is getting rid of Doug Ford.
These aren't talking points. These are real ideas that are captivating the imagination of Ontarians.
If Mr. Ford's going to talk about the jobs of the future, then why is he so actively hostile about the jobs of the future?
You both made your points at the core.
We're going to get it done.
Welcome to Decision Ontario 2022. Thank you so much for joining us as we guide you through this provincial election. I'm Alan Carter.
And I'm Farah Nasser, and we're so glad you're here with us. Our team here at Global News is ready to bring you the latest from the victory parties to the concession speeches and, of course, everything in between. In addition to watching us here on TV, you can also join us online on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and on all our streaming platforms.
We are also simulcasting all night on our network of talk radio stations throughout this province. You can tune in on 640 Toronto, 900 CHML in Hamilton, and 980 CFPL in London. And you can also engage with us tonight on social media. Our Queen's Park Bureau Chief Colin DeMello offering insights and analysis on Twitter, and follow along at globalnews.to.
Yeah.
Can I do that one more time? At globalnews.to.
Sorry, did I interrupt you? All I wanted to say was I'm so looking forward to Colin's insights. 5 seconds to go until polls have officially closed.
Stay with us. It is 9 o'clock. Polls have officially closed across the province of Ontario, and results will be coming in at any moment.
That's right. Before the results start pouring in, we just want to remind you what you're seeing here on your screen. So first of all, if you are watching us online, you can click on your riding for updated results anytime. And for those of you who are watching us on television or on the app, you can see all the information here.
This is where we're going to show you the live results as they're reported by Elections Ontario. No filter, just right to you on the screen. On the bottom of the screen, you see the overall standings, leading or elected. Now, keep this number in mind, 63. 63 is your magic ticket, because if you get 63 or above in the province of Ontario, that is majority government territory. Along the side, you see the results for each of the 124 ridings in the province. Just stay tuned, watch there. You'll see your riding come up pretty soon.
All right, let's get right to it. We want to go back to our party headquarters, as we mentioned.
Taking into the results, already PCs leading or elected with 16, NDP 4, Liberals 2, Green 1.
Let's find out where. Here's David Aiken with more on the early results. What are you seeing, David?
That's right. We'll take a look at the map. We've got a lot of blue on the map. In eastern Ontario, the PCs tend to dominate. They are leading right now in the bellwether riding. That's Peterborough right there. Dave Smith has a 32-vote lead with 1 poll reporting. But again, that's the bellwether riding of Peterborough. We did have, as we look through the province, we see a leaders riding right now. That's Guelph. Mike Schreiner is leading in Guelph. 2 polls reporting, and Schreiner's already out to a 500-vote lead. That's very good after 2 polls.
Mentioned this. Take a look at what the popular vote stands right now. And this compares also to 2018. Right now, you have the Progressive Conservatives actually slightly bettering their 2018 results. And remember that in 2018, they won 76 seats. The Liberals have bounced back with a little bit more than they were in 2018, 24.2% currently. Look at that, the NDP number coming back down from where they were in 2018, and the Greens up. That's good news for the Greens, regardless how it ends at the end of the night, at 6.7% of popular vote at this point in the evening.
But of course, the Greens do want that other seat at Queen's Park. Let's go again to Matthew Bingley. He is at PC headquarters. What was the moment like there, Matt, right now? Let's start in Barrie, Springwater, Oro, Medonte. This is going to be an interesting one. Doug Downey is here. He is against Jeff Lehman. He is a former Barrie mayor and three-term mayor, popular mayor. We'll see what happens there. We're also looking at Eglinton Lawrence over here, and we can see it's pretty close there. Now, only 8 polls are reporting, but you see the Liberal is ahead.
In Toronto, St. Paul's, what do we have here? The Progressive Conservative out in front of the Liberal. Pardon me, this is Brampton Centre, apologies, with the Progressive Conservative leading here. This is where the Liberals were hoping to come back, maybe, and Sarah Singh there is the incumbent, and she's in third. At York South-Weston, Michael Ford, might another Ford be heading to Queen's Park? Right now in York South-Weston, Michael Ford is in the lead. Let's go to David. Shall we go to David Aiken?
Yeah,
David Aiken's got all kinds of colors, but what's that gray we're looking at?
What is that gray? What is that gray, you say? Let me tell you. We're in the riding of Haldimand, Norfolk. That is the one other that we're talking about. And there's an interesting backstory on this in Haldimand, Norfolk, way down in the southwest. The woman leading here is Bobby Ann Brady, independent. We didn't get a picture of Bobby Ann, but who is she? I'll tell you. The longtime MPP for this riding was Toby Barrett. Toby Barrett, Progressive Conservative. Now, Toby Barrett wanted to retire, and he said to the party, I'd like my executive assistant, Bobby Ann Brady, to be the candidate to replace me. And the party said, nah, we'd rather have this guy, Ken Hewitt. Toby Barrett was a bit miffed about that, and Toby Barrett has thrown his entire machine, if you will, behind his former executive assistant, Bobby Ann Brady. So the vote on the right, this is a very conservative riding. It is going to vote for a conservative candidate. Even though she's an independent, she'd call herself conservative. Here's what happened here. Bobby Ann Brady, that's Toby Barrett's pull, getting her up there. She's got an 880-vote lead with 12 polls reporting. PC Ken Hewitt is in second. Now, there's your split of the PC vote in favor of Bobby Ann Brady. But there's more here. We got the Ontario Party. Yes, we'll be talking about these new splinter parties.
The PC win tonight as we take a look at the seat gains and losses. There we have it at dissolution, 67, a pickup of 16 seats. 16 more seats for the Progressive Conservatives. The NDP down by 7. The Liberals really hoping for such a big bounce back in this after the just drubbing they took in 2018. Only win 1 more.
And they didn't even get official party status.
No.
You know, so that's 12, by the way. And they didn't even get there. All right, thank you, David. Thanks for coming back to us because we've got some breaking news coming in.
Wow, that was fast. Global News projecting that the Progressive Conservatives will form a majority government. They have, or are expected to, secure at least 63 seats in the legislature.
10 minutes after the polls closed is when this call is being made. Let's go right to Matthew Bingley at PC headquarters. Matt. Oh, we don't have him yet. We're looking at a live shot there, and it's not full yet. So I'm sure the celebration will happen. Sometimes when these calls take a while, it's, you see the celebration, but even it's so early, there aren't so many people here. David, can we bring you back in? Because
Broadcasting from the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee peoples, and since 1805, the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit, this is City News.
The candidates.
We're the only party saying yes.
This team knows what it takes to deliver.
There's a lot at stake. There's just no doubt about it.
I'm charged up. Our EVs are charged up.
The key issues.
People are stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic.
It's like he wants to pretend that COVID never happened.
Get the profits out and put the care back in.
We are in a climate emergency.
In the midst of a divisive time.
Doug Ford is in essence a climate change denier.
Doug Ford wants to pave over our children's future.
The Liberals and NDP want to cancel every project they can.
Stop Ford from making those cuts.
It's your vote.
What I'm looking for is help for seniors.
Number one off the bat is climate change.
Cost of living, obviously.
It's election day in Ontario, and City News is everywhere. Good evening and welcome to Election Night in Ontario. We will be bringing you the results as they come in. And first, let's introduce you to all of our reporters who will be bringing you full coverage this evening. We have our team live at the Main Leaders headquarters this evening. Tammy Sutherland is in Toronto with Doug Ford and the PCs. Christine Howren is in Hamilton with Andrea Horwath and the NDP. Melissa Duggan is in Woodbridge with Stephen Del Duca and the Liberals. And Karen Ciolin is in Guelph with Mike Schreiner and the Greens. And we are all around Toronto as well. Shauna Hunt is tracking polling stations. Mark McAllister will be bringing us the latest from some of the ridings in this city. And we also have Erica Natividad tracking the results as they come in and will be bringing you some of the big winners and upsets across the province. And Faiza Amin is looking at some of the trending topics unfolding online. And I will be here with you throughout the evening and a panel, my panel all evening. Let me introduce them to you now. First, and there's some interesting ones, Erica.
There certainly are, Cynthia. Let's see where things are standing right now in terms of where, how many seats each party has. And we have, of course, declared that the PCs will form the next government. But let's go into the fine details now. One riding that a lot of people have been watching is Stephen Del Duca's riding of Vaughan and Woodbridge. So we're going to see where that stands right now. We can pull that up. All right, so here we go. So the PC is leading here. Stephen Del Duca is second place at the moment. He's really trying to hold on to his seat. She's really trying to win a seat here. This is, not as close as probably he would like it to be. We're going to move on to Toronto Centre now with star candidate Wong Tam, who is currently in the lead here over Liberal David Morris. Moving along, Scarborough-Guildwood. Mitzi Hunter trying to hold on to her seat there. She is in the lead right now with over 3,000 votes. And then now let's head over to Don Valley West. Star candidate Mark Saunders, the former police chief, is trying to win this seat from the Liberals. And right now he's in second place. It is quite close, though. So there's just about maybe over 100 vote difference there. And then we're going to head over to Brampton Centre. Deputy Leader Sarah Singh here in third place with just over 2,000. The PCs are leading there.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. All right, let's bring in our panel now. I have some numbers for you. This is on the popular vote so far. The PCs, of all the votes, received 40.9% or 1.8 million. NDP, 23.8% or 1 million. And the Liberals, 23.7%, just a scoot lower at 1 million. Greens, 5.7%, 254,000. So the NDP and the Liberals were virtually tied. And if you combine them, they actually outnumber the votes that Doug Ford received. Does this surprise you in any way? I'm assuming not. Larissa.
You're asking me?
I'll start with you.
It doesn't surprise me. When
really hopeful about that seat too.
So waiting for the results. It'll be a very interesting night. Thank you so much, Jared. And we will have more coverage for you. Back to you for now, Sin.
All right, thank you. And we are calling it. City News declares that the Conservatives will form the next government in Ontario. It is a PC win. Doug Ford will be the next premier again. We are going to send it right back to Tammy Sutherland. And Tammy, what's the mood now?
For things that they said. So in politics, sometimes crazy things come together. And if you're there to pick up the pieces, after 4 times, Matt Richter was the one who was trusted and was there. So we're really hoping we have a great ground game there that this time it happens.
Thank you so much. There you have it. Lots of optimism here tonight. Sin, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, Karen, thank you. And CityNews is declaring a PC majority this evening. The polls are still coming in, but we are predicting a definite PC majority. Now, will they win more than the 76 seats they won in 2018? Will the NDP come close to the 40 it won or surpass it in 2018? And will the Liberals surpass? Right now, we're showing 6 seats confirmed. Will that go higher to party status with 12 seats? So we will continue to watch these polls, but Shauna Hunt is in the field outside the polls, and she's been keeping track of some stations that are being delayed. Shauna.
Good evening. I'm Nicole Martin. The polls close in 1 hour, and then we'll find out who you've chosen to lead this province in the years ahead. We have reporters ready to go live at the election night headquarters of the Liberals, NDP, and Conservatives. And together with fellow news anchors Phil Perkins and Taz Boga, we'll take you through the vote results, the leaders' speeches, and work to provide some insight into how this campaign unfolded the way it did. Phil is manning our decision desk and will chart the path to victory for us. Phil.
Sure will, Nicole. Well, we looked at past voting trends. We've seen how ridings have historically voted, those that have stayed true to that one party and those which have swung wildly to support different parties in different elections. And then we've compared all that with recent polling data, the discussion on social media, mainly Twitter, and even what we've seen and heard from the ridings that we've visited over the past couple weeks. It'll basically tell us how tonight's decision was made. Taz, what you got?
Good evening. The polls are now closed across Ontario and the votes are being counted. Soon we'll know which government will lead this province in the years ahead. Welcome to your home, your vote. Now, as the votes roll in, you'll be able to track their progress on screen. On the screen below me, you can see the parties elected or leading, and below that, local ridings in the Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara regions. When those results do come in, the leader will be highlighted. And that is just a part of the comprehensive coverage we have planned for you tonight. I'm joined by a distinguished panel of political veterans. Phil Perkins is manning our decision desk, and Nicole Martin is tracking all of the races closest to you and the events unfolding at the provincial leaders' headquarters tonight. And Nicole starts us off tonight. Thank you so much for that, Taz. And after 28 days on the campaign trail for the leaders, it all comes down to tonight. And that's the story our reporters at the leaders' headquarters are following for us. Kelly Botello is at the NDP headquarters in Hamilton, and that's at the Hamilton Convention Center. Kelly.
For the 2022 provincial election, well, pollsters and history tells us that the Progressive Conservative Party has a very good chance of winning 34 ridings. Pollsters call those safe seats. Pollsters expect another 20 or so to likely fall the ways of the PC. If that all comes to pass, the PC party will need just another 10 seats or so to fall their way in order to form a majority. Now, for more on that, remember, that magic number is 63. 63 seats needed to form a majority government. If the PCs win the night, they'll have done so by winning many of these ridings, starting with Oakville. There are a number of potential swings in Hamilton, Halton, and Niagara, and one where the Liberals stand a chance of retaking the riding is in Oakville, where PC incumbent won by a relatively small margin over the Liberals last time out. Now, another in our region, Niagara Centre. The PC party making a strong challenge to bounce NDP incumbent Jeff Birch. Now, this would be a huge pickup for the PCs. Now, head over to Hamilton, West Ancaster, Dundas. The PC party making a strong challenge in this riding. It's up to incumbent Sandy Shaw to fight them all off. The riding has a reputation as being a bit of a swing riding. It's the new cat in town. Eglinton Lawrence now, this comfortable Liberal seat went PC in 2018, but by a very small margin as well. Liberals campaigning hard for this one. Head over to Scarborough Southwest. The NDP fighting to hold on to its seat gain of its seat, which it won from the Liberals in 2018. This time, polls say the PC party have made it a three-way fight. Mississauga Lakeshore now. This Liberal riding fell to the blue wave in 2018. Now the Liberals are surging. Don't have confirmed numbers yet, but it's seen if the PC party were able to fend them off in this situation.
You probably thought he did an okay job, or at worst a B-, let's say, and you might have thought he did a lot better job than you thought he'd be. And that's where the basis of this was built. And then, quite frankly, just staying out of people's faces over the last couple of months. You know, people have got enough of government. They've got enough of politicians, and they had the confidence and the maturity to just say, you know what, we've done a good job, vote for us, and we'll keep more of the same. It's a very worrying time out there.
And with all that, the CHCH decision desk has made its election call. It will be a PC majority, so 4 more years of a Doug Ford government. Cole, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of reaction to that, specifically in Doug Ford's camp.
That's exactly right, Phil, and we do know that this projection means it will be more than 63 seats to form that majority government. Let's go right to Matt Ingram, who is at the Doug Ford campaign at the Toronto Congress Centre. Matt, has there been any reaction yet to this news?
Tonight, Ontario renders its verdict on 4 years of Doug Ford's PC government as it steered the province through some truly unprecedented times. Will voters reward that stewardship or chart a new course? It's Thursday, June 2nd. We've got gavel-to-gavel coverage of election night in Ontario, and that starts right now on the agenda. Hi, everybody. We're delighted to have you with us for this special broadcast on Ontario's 43rd General Election Night. We're going to set things up for you during our regular 8 to 9 p.m. time slot for the agenda. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, after the polls close, keep it here, because we really will have the most comprehensive coverage and analysis available tonight. From Aaron Kelly, from our panel of experienced politicians, from experts on housing, healthcare, and affordability, and from our in-house team of on-poly watchers. And a reminder, you can stay tuned to us even if you're on the move, on our live stream on TVO.org or on the agenda's Twitter and Facebook pages, and chime in on social media while you're there. It is 9 o'clock, and we know what that means. It's 9 p.m. You didn't run provincially last time, so that's why we're skipping Davenport. It is 9 o'clock Eastern Time here in the province of Ontario, at least in this part of the province. We know in Kenora, they're still an hour behind us. In any event, I'm Steve Paikin, and we are delighted to welcome you to our election 2022 coverage for the evening. We actually started at 8 o'clock, setting it all up. We're about to get returns coming in almost any minute now, I'm sure, as the polls across the province close. And then we will keep it here all night long to bring you returns, to bring you analysis, and of course to bring you the speeches of the winners and losers, whoever that may be. We have a lot of questions we need to ask tonight. Obviously, is Doug Ford going to win? Is he going to win a majority government? Who's going to come second? The Liberals last time had a historic crushing defeat. Some polls suggest they may come second tonight and take that job away, the official opposition job, from the NDP. Will the NDP fall into third place? If they do, is that the end of Andrea Horwath and her time at Queen's Park? If the Liberals don't come second and Stephen Del Duca doesn't win his seat, is that the end of Stephen Del Duca's career at Queen's Park? Lots to figure out. We want to mention a couple of other things. Whether you're watching us on television or on one of our streaming services, we want to remind you that you can go to TVO.org. There's interactive stuff there that you can deal with. How about the 905? Shall we check and see what the 905 is doing tonight? You want to do Peterborough? All right, we'll do Peterborough first. Go ahead, let's bring those up. Look at the right-hand column, incidentally, everybody. 33 Tories. They're halfway to a majority government right now. Okay, Peterborough-Kawartha. Remember, we just talked about this with Aaron Kelly. This is the biggest bellwether riding in the province. The question is it still a bellwether, right? This is the riding where the people always vote for the winning party. And Dave Smith, look how close that fight is with the NDP and with the Liberals. Tight three-way fight. 5% of the polls reporting, so we're going to be a long way away from calling this one all night long. This could be a seesaw battle all evening long. Okay. That is really close. Let's try the riding of Peel, just west of here. This is a really important part of the province because as Peel goes, often so goes the province, and you can see all those blue splotches to the west of the 416. Never mind the rest of the stuff. Let's get back to some returns now and find out what Janet Ecker's second choice of seat is. And look at that. In York South Weston, which just never votes Tory, the Ford brand is strong.
Yeah, and a good, strong candidate who worked very hard. So
we don't have a check mark there yet, but with 15% of the polls reporting, we're going to look, we should start to take note because we're going to start to see some of these ridings called awfully soon. Michael Ford running next door to the constituency that he represented at City Hall. Faisal Hassan looks like he's on his way to being a one-term New Democrat MPP with the Premier's nephew going to be joining him at Queen's Park, but we'll see. 15% of the polls reporting so far, so we're not going to get out ahead of ourselves here. Doug Ford obviously was doing a lot of events in this election campaign with a lot of guys in hard hats behind him. Because he wants to build Highway 413 across the top of Toronto. And let's look at the ridings where the 413 would go. Dufferin-Caledon strongly coming back for Sylvia Jones, although, Hannah, look who's in second.
Green
Laura Campbell in second place in Dufferin-Caledon.
Very exciting.
Let's keep looking. Along the 413, the proposed highway, which the three other parties opposed, in King Vaughan, Stephen Lecce will return to Queen's Park, the Minister of Education winning personal election in King Vaughan. Where else along the 413 are we going to look? Vaughan Woodbridge. A very tough night for Stephen Del Duca. It looks like he will go down to defeat and not be able to win his seat back that he held from 2012 to 2016. Control room, why don't we do that first, okay? Here's what happened in the province of Ontario tonight. Doug Ford, his PC party with 41% of the total votes cast. The Liberals actually come second in the total vote, but because their vote is inefficient, only results in a third place 8 seats. The NDP at 23% of the total vote, but because it's very efficient, good for 29 seats and official opposition status. And the Greens up a little bit from last time. They're at 6% right now. Quarter of a million people going to vote Green tonight. Stephen Del Duca is going to be the next leader to speak. I'm going to jump in here because I think obviously the numbers are trending in such a way that we can say with confidence at this stage of the evening that the decision desk here declares a progressive conservative based on the returns that are in. It's 9:23 p.m. and I'm betting that most folks could have called this thing 10 or 15 minutes ago. But there we go. Doug Ford, 26th Premier of the province of Ontario, will go back to Queen's Park as the leader of a second consecutive majority government. Janet, everything worked for the PCs in this campaign, and the results now show it.
C'est l'heure des choix. En Ontario, les bureaux de vote ferment dans exactement 30 minutes. Ici Mathieu Nadeau en direct des studios de Radio-Canada à Toronto. Bienvenue à la soirée des élections. Bonsoir à tous, très content d'être avec vous ce soir. De Timmins à Ottawa, en passant par Sudbury et Windsor, il y a des millions d'électeurs qui sont allés voter aujourd'hui en Ontario. Le point culminant d'une courte campagne électorale, à peine 28 jours, mais d'une très longue pré-campagne. Les élections étant à date fixe, on a l'impression que l'Ontario est plongé en mode électoral depuis déjà plusieurs mois. Les annonces et les promesses se sont multipliées pour tenter de séduire la population. C'est maintenant aux électeurs de trancher. Est-ce que le premier ministre sortant, Doug Ford, sera réélu pour un deuxième mandat? Qui va former l'opposition officielle? On a bien hâte de répondre à toutes ces questions-là, de vous présenter les résultats qui devraient commencer à arriver très rapidement après 21 heures. Je vous présente tout de suite l'équipe qui va vous accompagner tout au long de cette soirée, que vous nous suiviez à la télé, à la radio ou encore sur le web. 21 heures dans moins de 10 secondes. L'heure des résultats est arrivée. Toute l'équipe est prête à vivre ce moment avec vous. Il est maintenant 21h. Les bureaux de scrutin sont maintenant fermés presque partout en Ontario. Je dis presque partout parce que le vote a été prolongé dans une vingtaine de circonscriptions. Pas dans toutes les circonscriptions, mais dans certains bureaux de ces comtés-là qui ont ouvert plus tard où il y a eu certains problèmes informatiques. On parle de prolongation du vote de 10, 15, 20 minutes dans certains cas. Ça va jusqu'à 2 heures dans un cas en particulier, mais ça ne devrait pas trop affecter les résultats qu'on va vous présenter ce soir. Vous allez voir apparaître au bas de votre écran le décompte des différents partis. C'est à 0 pour le moment, évidemment, mais lorsque les premiers votes vont entrer, ça va s'animer tout ça et ce classement-là va être mis à jour. Je vous rappelle le chiffre important de la soirée, 63. C'est ce qu'un parti doit obtenir, au moins 63 sièges pour former un gouvernement majoritaire. Il y a des résultats maintenant dans 52 des 124 circonscriptions de l'Ontario. Ça commence à se préciser et voici la première élue de la soirée.
Voilà, donc dans York, Simcoe, Caroline Mulroney qui arrive à se faire réélire. Donc elle est largement devant déjà son plus proche rival libéral. La dernière fois aussi, ça avait été aussi facile pour elle. Elle avait gagné par plus de 15 000 voix. Elle donc obtient son deuxième mandat. Dans Huron-Bruce, la ministre sortante de l'Agriculture, de l'Alimentation et des Affaires rurales, Lisa Thompson, arrive aussi à se faire réélire. Huron-Bruce, qui est un château fort progressiste conservateur, elle briguait son 4e mandat, elle l'obtient. Lisa Thompson, on le rappelle, elle a occupé plusieurs postes au sein du cabinet du gouvernement Ford. Dans Dufferin-Caledon, Sylvia Jones, la solliciteur générale sortante qui est aussi réélue selon les projections de Radio-Canada. Elle avait obtenu la dernière fois aussi une large avance sur ses rivaux. Alors, c'est un 5e mandat qu'elle obtient à Queen's Park.
L'Ontario qui a l'habitude de voter conservateur. Voici le classement pour le moment. 5 élus, 34 candidats en tête, total de 39 pour les progressistes conservateurs, 13 candidats en tête chez le NPD. On est à 7 chez les libéraux, 1 pour le Parti vert pour le moment. Et en termes de suffrages exprimés, bon, c'est tôt dans la soirée, ça pourrait bouger un peu, mais 40 des voix chez les conservateurs, c'est à peu près du copier-coller de ce qu'ils avaient obtenu en 2018. 24 chez les libéraux qui, pour l'instant, font mieux qu'en 2018. 23 chez le NPD et 7 pour le Parti vert. Natacha, Geneviève, Natacha, d'abord, vous...
Toronto, donc 2018, quand même une raflée, un raz-de-marée progressiste-conservateur qui avait permis aux troupes de Doug Ford de remporter une majorité. Là, on voit quand même qu'on conserve plusieurs de ces circonscriptions-là. On voit dans Vaughan Woodbridge la circonscription convoitée par le chef libéral qu'il est derrière son adversaire progressiste-conservateur par 815 voix. Si on se concentre maintenant dans Toronto, on voit quelques changements, puis ça fait un peu mal aux yeux, là, mais il y a quelques changements du côté. Vous vous rappelez, en 2018, les néo-démocrates avaient remporté toutes ces circonscriptions-là. Et là, on voit qu'il y a quand même possiblement des gains libéraux.
M. Schreiner qui gagne son siège à nouveau, on s'attendait à ça. Faut leur donner, ils ont fait tout de même une bonne performance en Perry Sound, Muskoka. C'est une énorme circonscription qui est difficile à sillonner pour un petit parti qui n'a pas beaucoup de ressources. Il n'y avait pas de candidat libéral dans Perry Sound, Muskoka. C'est la raison pourquoi ils pensaient qu'ils avaient des chances, mais c'est tout de même un fief conservateur. C'est l'ancienne circonscription d'un premier ministre conservateur, Frank Miller. Donc, ça aurait été difficile pour eux de la ravir.
Et on voit que ça n'a pas progressé énormément. C'est à peu près pareil dans tous les coins de la province. Une petite augmentation en termes de pourcentage, mais Geneviève, M. Schreiner qui rappelait... je ne sais pas si on a un portrait du taux de participation. On me disait tout à l'heure qu'on était légèrement au-dessus des 40
Oui, 41,1
ouais, regardez ce que ça donne, le
41,6
41,6 on est largement en dessous des 57 Ça va continuer de grimper un peu. Il n'y a pas tous les votes de comté, là, mais quand même...
Écoutez, Mathieu,
votre lecture là-dessus, c'est quand même triste, là.
Le taux de participation le plus bas dans l'histoire de l'Ontario, c'était 48,2 lorsque Dalton McGuinty a obtenu sa minorité en 2011. Là, on est en dessous de ça.
Je dirais qu'ils sont arrivés et qui ont applaudi le candidat au moment où il le débat.
Alors, 21h18, Radio-Canada prévoit, si la tendance du vote se maintient, que le prochain gouvernement en Ontario sera formé par le Parti progressiste conservateur et que ce sera un gouvernement majoritaire. Je répète, Radio-Canada prévoit, si la tendance se maintient, que le prochain gouvernement en Ontario sera formé par les progressistes conservateurs et que ce sera un gouvernement majoritaire. On va voir des images en direct de la permanence des conservateurs à Etobicoke. La foule qui s'anime, les partisans de plus en plus nombreux, c'est donc pari réussi pour le premier ministre sortant, Doug Ford, qui obtient non seulement un deuxième mandat à la tête de la province, mais ce mandat-là est majoritaire. Ça veut dire
Merci Lila. Et il est 21h, c'est la fermeture des bureaux de vote. Dans ces élections aux allures de référendum pour ou contre Doug Ford, la campagne électorale a gravité autour d'un thème central, le coût de la vie. Les partis politiques se sont livrés au cours des 28 derniers jours à une surenchère de propositions pour tenter de convaincre les électeurs. Le Premier ministre sortant promet des rabais sur les prix à la pompe, la suppression de péages autoroutiers et des investissements dans les transports, les hôpitaux et le logement abordable. Élu pour remettre l'argent dans la poche des Ontariens, libéraliser l'économie et éliminer le déficit, il a dû faire face à une pandémie inédite qui a bouleversé la donne à mi-mandat, avec à la clé un bilan critiqué par ses adversaires. Face à lui, la néo-démocrate Andrea Horwath veut redonner de l'espoir aux plus vulnérables. Elle promet de taxer les spéculateurs immobiliers, de geler les impôts des familles à faible revenu et d'instaurer une assurance médicaments universelle. Engagée dans sa 4e tentative pour accéder au pouvoir, elle joue ce soir une partie de son avenir politique. Stephen Del Duca a quant à lui essayé d'impulser un nouvel élan dans les rangs des libéraux, un parti pulvérisé aux dernières élections. Chef sans siège à Queen's Park, souffrant d'un déficit d'image, il a mené une campagne résolument à gauche, marchant sur les plates-bandes néo-démocrates. Il prône des transports en commun à $1, le contrôle des loyers et des salles de classe plus petites. Enfin, Mac Schreiner, l'unique député vert au moment de la dissolution, milite pour une nouvelle économie climatique et une plus grande prise en compte de la santé mentale et des droits des travailleurs. Après avoir mené une campagne dynamique, il espère élargir son caucus à Queen's Park et accroître son influence sur les problématiques liées à l'environnement. Bonsoir et merci de nous rejoindre sur TFO. Bienvenue dans On Vote 2022. On est au cœur de la soirée électorale provinciale. Les bureaux de vote viennent de fermer et vous avez fait votre choix et votre voix donnera la couleur et le ton des 4 prochaines années de gouvernement en Ontario.
Oui, donc on a des résultats qui nous proviennent de l'Est. Alors, on regarde du côté de Nepean. Déjà, on voit que Lisa MacLeod, ministre sortante de la Culture, qui est en tête en ce moment avec 51% des voix. C'est sûr que c'est encore des résultats très préliminaires, mais elle est quand même devant. Donc, son rival libéral Tyler Watt, qui en ce moment détient 27% des voix, suivi du NPD avec Brian Double, qui détient 10% des voix, donc dans Nepean. On voit que c'est en fait 11 bureaux de scrutin où les votes ont été dépouillés sur 51. Donc, comme je vous dis, c'est très, très préliminaire comme résultat dans Nepean. Ensuite, on peut parler d'Ottawa-Centre, où c'est Joel Harden, le député sortant du NPD, qui est en avance avec 49%. Donc, il détient 930 votes comparativement à sa rivale libérale Katie Gibbs, qui, elle, détient 25% des votes pour le moment, suivi du candidat progressiste conservateur Scott Healy, qui détient 17% du vote pour l'instant. Oui, tout à fait. Des courses serrées qui s'annoncent. On le prédisait, hein, Glengarry, Prescott, Russell. Déjà, on voit que c'est le progressiste conservateur Stéphane Sarrazin qui mène en ce moment dans cette circonscription de l'Est de la province. Donc, il surpasse pour le moment la libérale sortante Amanda Simard. Donc, M. Sarrazin qui, en ce moment, a 44% des votes. Et Amanda Simard qui suit derrière avec 37%. On se souvient, donc, Amanda Simard qui avait été élue en 2018 sous la bannière du PC. PC et qui avait claqué la porte du parti, qui s'était rangé du côté libéral, qui tente de se faire élire sous cette bannière. Donc pour le moment, donc elle est deuxième. On va continuer de suivre ça avec beaucoup d'intérêt. C'est encore préliminaire. On voit que c'est seulement des résultats qui nous proviennent de 2 bureaux de scrutin sur 99. Donc on y retournera bien sûr au courant de la soirée. Autre course, on s'attendait que ce soit serré. Ottawa-West Nepean. Pour l'instant, c'est Chandra Pasma donc, qui est en pole position avec 35% des votes. C'est sa deuxième tentative, en fait, à décrocher cette circonscription. Elle était arrivée deuxième à la dernière élection, de très près derrière Jeremy Roberts. Donc, Jeremy Roberts, pour l'instant, qui est deuxième avec 32% des votes. Et en troisième position, Sam Balessard, qui a 25% des votes dans Ottawa-West Nepean.
Oui, je vous interromps. Le bureau des décisions est en mesure de vous dire que le prochain gouvernement sera progressiste conservateur. Voilà, ça arrive toujours de manière spontanée. Une première réaction, là, cette information, Stéphanie.
Donc, il est 21h16. En 2018, ONFR avait appelé un gouvernement.
Merci beaucoup, Lila. Et le bureau des décisions est en mesure de vous dire que le prochain gouvernement sera progressiste conservateur majoritaire. Alors Stéphanie, c'est allé très vite comme on l'a dit tout à l'heure. Maintenant on sait que c'est un gouvernement progressiste conservateur majoritaire. Pas de grande surprise.
Pas de grande surprise. Je crois qu'il reste maintenant 2 questions pour le reste de la soirée électorale. Donc à quel point ce gouvernement-là sera majoritaire? Est-ce qu'on dépassera